Guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Adeniran Deborah, and on this channel we talk about love, relationship, marriage, family life, faith, and everything beautiful in between. If you are yet to subscribe to my YouTube channel, please do well to subscribe. You are going to get a lot of value on this channel, so please click the subscription button and do not forget to turn on your notification bell. I'm saying it again, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you. So today we are going to be talking about important conversations you need to have before you get married. I know you are excited about marriage. When you are looking at your wedding day like this with so much anticipation and joy, but there are some conversations you need to have before you marry. In fact, right from the time that you know that this person we are going to end on the altar, you should begin to have some of these conversations with them. And your dating season is a talking season and not a touching season. I'm going to say that again. Your dating season is a talking season and not a touching season. If you focus on touching and not talking, you will not hear the things that you need to hear. You will just go into the marriage with many assumptions that may hurt you or make you feel dissatisfied in your marriage. You know, sometimes people say things like, oh, it was never like that before we got married. They were probably like that before you got married, but you never knew because you did not have the conversations before your marriage. And having this conversation does not mean that you would necessarily opt out of the relationship. It is that you are better informed, better prepared, and that you are able to know what you are going into. If it is something you can deal with in marriage, you go ahead. And if it is something you know that this is a deal breaker for me, you are able to make your decision even before marriage. You have these conversations so that if there are areas that you need to adjust, mindset that you need to correct, and things that you need to unlearn and relearn, you are able to do them before your marriage. That will save you a lot of trouble in the marriage. Number one conversation you need to have is finance. Talk about money. Talk about money management. Understand their mindset towards money and spending money. Talk about how you will run your family finance. Talk about your money personality. Are you the spending type? Are you the saving type? Are you the one that invests? You just want to invest all of your money? What do you expect of me financially? What do they expect of you financially? Have these conversations. I remember I was counseling a couple sometimes ago. They were married already, and you know, the husband wanted them to split bills 50-50, but the wife believed that money or anything that has to do with providing financially in the home as a married couple should entirely be the man's responsibility. And you know, they were able to reach a common ground. But if they had had that conversation before they got married, they would be able to have made necessary adjustments before they got married. So how are we running finance in this home? Talk about it. What is your mindset towards money? Is your money my money and my money my money, or is it our money, or is it your money and it is my money? Do we want to run joint accounts, personal accounts? Make sure you have all of these conversation. If I have 1 million and you have and you have 10 million, how much do we have in the house together? If she says 1 million, you already know what the person is insinuating. So make sure you talk about finance. The second thing you should talk about is parenting, children, and family planning. I've heard a few ladies sometimes say things like they do not want children. Now, it is their decision, but that decision should not be forced on a man that wants children. So before you go ahead and marry her or marry him, ask, do you want to have children? If you want to have children, how many children do we want to give birth to? What is the spacing? How many years space do we want to give between each children, so that you don't marry somebody that doesn't want to give birth to children, and the marriage you are dragging, oh, I want a child, you don't want a child, and there is an issue. Have these conversations. You don't ever assume that everybody wants children. What if they don't want children? So you already have the assumption that no, there's nobody on earth that doesn't want children, that you did not ask and you just got married, and then the person says, no, I don't want children, and you are like, it's not possible, you must give me children, and then there is issue. So talk about it. Do we intend to conceive immediately after our wedding, or we want to wait a while? If we are waiting a while, how are we waiting? So that if you just want to trust God and not do family planning, then a child now comes, you conceive by mistake or by intention, and then you are angry and bitter. No, talk about it. Are we waiting? If we are waiting, how are we waiting? If we are not doing family planning, if a child comes, or if we conceive in the course of saying we are not ready, how are you going to take it? It's not like you're going to just get bitter. Have these conversations, and not just have the conversations, listen to their mindset, understand, observe, see their tone, their body language, observe all of these things. What is their mindset towards the various betting methods that we have, so that you don't marry a man that will insist if there is an emergency and the doctor says you must have cesarean section, and the man is insisting that no, you have to give birth per vagina, or you give birth via cesarean section, and your husband is calling you lazy because you could not give birth per vagina. So ask them this question: what is your mindset towards the various childbirth methods that we have? What is your mindset towards family planning? So that a day does not come, you want to go for family planning and he says no, don't go for family planning. What kind of parents do we want to be? What kind of parenting method do we want to use in our family? Have these conversations. Sometimes you hear cases of women that probably died during childbirth because their husbands never gave consent for them to be sectioned and then to give birth. Then you wonder, what kind of man is it? Did she not know? Sometimes because people don't have these conversations, they just assume that the person they are marrying will make the right decisions for them. So make sure that some of these conversations are hard and your mindset, your expectations are clearly stated. Number 3, discuss your expectations. It is not a bad thing to have expectations before you get married, but it is not good when these expectations are not communicated, because unmet expectation can build up resentment in marriage, and before you know it, you are angry, you are bitter, you are expecting that your husband, your wife does something that you have not communicated to them before marriage, or even in the marriage. What are your financial expectations? What do you expect of me? And these are the things that I also expect of you. Maybe there are men that they expect that when their wife collects salary, she will pack everything and come and kneel down, my Lord and my Savior, here's my salary for the month. And there are women that probably expect that at the end of the month, a certain percentage of their husband's salary must come into their account. Fine, it's not bad, as long as you have communicated this. Let this person know what they are coming into the marriage to deal with, and know what you're also coming into the marriage to deal with. And if it is something that you are not comfortable with, you are able to address it. Don't have expectations that you do not communicate. If you expect that he helps you around with house chores, helps in the kitchen, helps with changing children and diapers, preparing them for school, do not assume. You may feel like, oh, these are basic things, these are ideal things, but sometimes these things are not basic and ideal for some kind of people. So you have to clearly state them. These are my expectations. Never assume. Clearly and always state your expectations. If they can meet it, fine. If they cannot, you are able to make necessary adjustments. The next conversation you need to have is conflict resolution and conflict management. How are we going to handle matters in our marriage? How do you want matters to be handled? What is your apology language? How do you want, when you are hurt and offended, how do you want, some people just want their spouse to apologize and that is all. Some people want them to beg it after apology. Some people want to see a change immediately. Some people do not just want you to say I am sorry. They want you to acknowledge that you have hurt them. They go ahead to apologize. So talk about your apology language. What works best for you? How do you cope in case of misunderstanding? Some people keep malice. Some people hold grudges. Some people, it will take like 5 days before they heal or before they move on from a situation. So talk, so that you are not married and he's taking like 5 days before he comes around and you are wondering, you should not be keeping malice with me. So that, and in fact, there are some of these signs that you would have seen even while dating. That's why your dating time is a time to wear a double concave lens and see clearly. Say love is blind, marriage will open your eyes. The things that you ignore in your relationship while you are dating, and now they are becoming a matter now that you are married. You have to pay attention. So how do you handle conflicts? Another conversation you need to have before you get married is your spiritual life as a family. It doesn't matter whether you're a firebrand as a single. The moment you are getting married, you need to talk about the structure and that you intend to build or to have for your own home. What church do we want to attend after our wedding? Now that we are married as a married couple, what church do we intend to attend? What kind of church do we want our children to go in. I've seen a lot of couples that after their wedding they move into another church. And I saw a couple also some time ago that before they got married, they had this conversation. The husband attends a church that they used to have their services in the evening, but she was not comfortable with staying at home on a Sunday morning and going to church in the evening. They met at a common ground, she would go to a church of her choice in the morning where she's committed, and then in the evening she will still follow her husband to their family church. So you have to have this conversation, know what works for them, what works for you. If God calls you in the course of the marriage, you are not a pastor, you are not a bishop before you got married. But now if God calls me as a pastor in the course of the marriage, what will you do? Will you say I should not obey the will of God? I should not obey God? What is your mindset towards spiritual fathering after wedding? Are we submitting under your own spiritual father, or we are looking for a new spiritual father for our family? Or you maintain your spiritual father, I maintain my spiritual father? Your mentors, our mentors, will your mentor become our mentor, or we just keep our mentors? Make sure you have all of these conversations. And if you have expectations spiritually, particular structures you intend and you desire that you have in your marriage spiritually, days that you fast, days that you have vigils, days that you retreat together, make sure that you communicate and you do not just assume that this person is up for that. If they are up for it, if they are not up for it, you are able to adjust, and if it is a deal breaker for you, you are able to pull out before marriage. Another conversation you need to have is in-laws. Talk about your extended families. If you ask, do you have family tradition that you cannot let go of? Maybe some people, there is a particular month in the year that all their families, they meet, or they travel and go on a vacation, or all the family just have a time that they come together. There's a particular culture and tradition that is very unique to them and that they are not willing to let go. Talk about it. Talk about how it may affect your own family, or how you are ready to make adjustments, how they are able to compromise, and you are able to meet at a common ground. I remember I saw a post of a lady that was saying that her husband and herself would always go to her mother-in-law's place every Sunday, and she was tired and overwhelmed. If they probably have had some of these conversations before they got married, it wouldn't have gotten to that part. Of course, things happen along the line, but if you have had some conversation, it minimizes the effect or the impact, because you have talked about it and you have been braced up for them. You understand? So what are the boundaries we are setting for in-laws? Do we have of course you have to love your in-laws, both parties, but then is our home open for our in-laws at any point in time? They can just come around, come and spend a year, come and spend months, come and spend weeks. We have to talk about them. Some people feel like no in-law must come and stay with us. If I thought they are in town, max 2 days, they have gone back. What if you marry somebody that is very big on his or her own family and really wants them to always be around? Talk about the roles that your in-laws will play and the roles that they will not play in your marriage, so that you are not shocked when you begin to see some of these things in marriage. Talk about your past. Ask questions about past experiences that may impact your marriage. If you have a past that you strongly believe that should be discussed, discuss it. Ask questions. Have you been hurt in the past? Is there a trauma that you are still dealing with? Talk about your past, especially if there are specific things that should be shared. Converse. Let them know what they are coming to deal with. If you have a child from a previous marriage, or maybe not from a previous marriage, maybe before you knew things right, somebody gave birth to a child for you, talk about the child. Whatever it is that can show up in your marriage and impact your marriage from the past, make sure you talk about it. Ask them, is there anything that I need to know about your past? Is there a particular or a major event in your past that you feel can impact our marriage and I need to know about it? Talk about it. It could be a case of sexual abuse, domestic abuse, whatever it is in the past, make sure that you talk about it. So the reason why you need to talk about this, like I said earlier, is not just for you to pull out of the relationship or cancel the marriage. It is so that you are better prepared, better equipped for the marriage, and you are able to make the necessary adjustments that you need to make before you get married. Then because you have had these conversations, you are not shocked when you begin to see some of these things in your marriage. You have discussed your expectations, so there is no room for unhealthy expectations or assumptions that hurt a marriage. And if you feel like, oh, some of these things I can't do, you're able to make a decision whether or not to go on with the marriage. But regardless, having these conversations gives you room to make your choice, and whatever choice you make, you know that you are well aware and well informed, and it is not like you were cajoled, deceived, or you assumed into the marriage. I believe that from this video you have been able to learn a thing or two. Drop whatever it is that stood out for you in the comment section. Share with as many people as possible. Do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel. Turn on the notification button. If you have questions, clarifications, you need counseling, or there are subjects you want me to talk about, do not hesitate to also drop them in the comments. See you again next time. Thank you. Bye.